Does this work though against Arsenal? Because look how high Mahrez and Grealish are. I know Arsenal aren't in their best form. I'm not even going to talk about Arsenal today because, you know, they're all right second half, you know, first half poor and you know, VAR and all that. But, you know, is that a little too open, or do you think there's enough there to deal with Saka Mate? Do you think he would approach it this way if it were Arsenal?
It's tough because the only template we've seen to stop Arsenal is that 4-5-1 or that 4-1-4-1 and that physicality, which is what Everton have shown, Brentford have shown. Man City are not going to give us that. Man City are not going to do that. They're not going to sit back like Manchester United and kind of counter-attack at Old Trafford. They're not going to... I mean, Man United in the first half at the Emirates, distance covered was ridiculous, and then it couldn't be sustained second half. So Man City are not going to adopt any of those methods. So this is the first time we're seeing them in terms of their two fully strength teams. We saw them in the Cup. I think in that game you can say Arsenal competed, they played very well, but they made a lot of changes. So it's like, can we read too much into it when we know that Arsenal are going to then go and play their strongest team? Probably not too much. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions going into this game of tactically what are both of them thinking. And I don't know if it can work purely because the opposition is of a much higher standard, the technical quality in between these areas. Bernardo, say defensively now, we're asking you, can you handle Odegaard the same way Newcastle did at the Emirates? Are you going to man mark him? Are you going to mark him out of the game? Is Bernardo capable of doing that? No, probably not. Did he have to do that against Aston Villa? No. So it's like the tables have turned, you know. Laporte, does he want to get out into the wide areas with Saka? Is he going to go touch tight? Because Saka's been a player that you've had to kind of man mark as well and deal with. Who are Arsenal even going to start? You know, is Martinelli, is it going to be Trossard? So there's a lot of questions. People are saying that maybe Tierney could have come in to give a bit of width. What's Arteta going to do? Is he going to stick with the team, two games in a row with no win? So there's a lot of variables that are at play here because Arsenal have not won in their last two and Man City have been struggling up until this last match. I
wasn't planning on doing this, but I just quickly chucked on the Arsenal 11 there to sort of compare what the shapes might look like from the 3-2-5s and all that. And you're right, it's very risky for either team because let me put it this way, I trust Saka and Martinelli to actually drop back and help out, or let's say Arsenal to transition into that back four and try and deal with what, or you know, you could do. Arsenal could mix up in a lot of different ways. I could see Arsenal doing a few different things to try and deal with Man City when they get on the front foot.
Yeah.
But if this game becomes very open and is a little bit more end-to-end and sort of both teams are having their moments, the Man City, trying to speak with a neutral head here, that's worrying for City because, I mean, Laporte on Saka and Walker and Martinelli, they can do the one-on-one defending.
There's gaps.
So many gaps. So what, does Bernardo fill in? Does Rodri fill in? Is that the way they're going to try and address that? I think there's a very good chance that we see this man come in. Have I even got him? No, I haven't. Ake. Let me add him.
Ake goes in at left back and Laporte goes alongside Diaz in a back four. Is that what you're thinking?
I think so. But who comes out? Who comes out the midfield? I think Bernardo Silva maybe.
Yeah, potentially. So it depends on how they want to set up. If they're going to go with more possession, I think, but we've already spoken about it. Gundogan can do either. He can keep the ball if you need him to. He can make the third man runs if you need him to. He can contribute in the final third. I think that midfield gives you a lot of options in terms of Gundogan, brilliant in the first phase, brilliant in the second phase, brilliant in the third phase. Bernardo's had a little bit of a tough season. Obviously, mentally, that's what the question's always been. Big games, you know, are you up for it, etc. Obviously, Pep, I think, will maybe lean a little bit more to Gundogan than he would to Bernardo.
You know what it is? This isn't, you know, these lineups here are kind of what I think Arsenal and Man City could retreat to. Draw is in the underworld for either team.
Yeah.
So I could see Xhaka tucking into Partey a little bit closer and giving him more protection. I could see Odegaard getting close to Nketiah and just trying to see if there's like something in transition they can do, find Saka or Martinelli in behind. And I could see Pep Guardiola going, you know what? Away at the Emirates, let's just get Gundogan instead of Bernardo Silva because he offers that little bit more defensive awareness. So it's a really fascinating one. Let me ask you some quick questions. Who's gonna come out with the most possession in this game?
That's tough. I think you're looking at very even split, 55-45 either way, something like that. I think they're both going to have spells. They're both going to have spells. Both of them want the ball, but they can't. I don't think they're going to keep the ball for the entirety. I think it's going to go in spells.
I think City will have more of the ball.
Do you?
I think City will try and be calm and get into their flow. But I think Arteta will be okay with that because I think he'll recognise the opportunities for Eddie
for
Martinelli
transition.
and Saka for transition.
Home to United, similar type of thing with the transitions.
I don't think he'll purposely set out, but I think he'll say, look, don't need to blow him away in the first. I'd love to see the Emirates roaring. Arsenal
because you
all
haven't
over
won in
City.
2 games, could he then say, no, we do need to blow them away in the first few minutes to get the confidence up?
Maybe.
Because the longer the game goes on, after you haven't won 2, are there going to be question marks, there going to be doubts? It's a big opportunity.
Well, then let me ask you, who needs the win more?
I think you guys, because you guys have not won in 2, and this is your first time in this position. Man City desperately need this, don't get me wrong. But they have the game at the Etihad to come back on. The points gap could be massive by then, but they've been here before. So mentality-wise, I don't expect them to hit rock bottom if they lose. But I do think it gives you a massive psychological edge if you win this game and you extend the gap. Whereas if you lose, especially when you still got to go to Etihad and they now, again, psychologically, they go ahead of you in the table. I know you have a game in hand, but on goal difference, that could be a little bit, and especially after what's happened against Brentford with the referee and whatnot, I think that could hurt.
I think you're spot on. I think mathematically City need it more for sure, but psychologically Arsenal need it more. I think if City lose, look, they've got the Champions League to worry about. They'll just try and keep plug away at it in the Premier League. If they draw, they'll go cool, plenty of time. Yeah. But if they win, they'll go, we're above you in the table now.
Their wins,
you might have the game in hand, but we're above you now.
And then they play you again at home. Yeah. And I think the home atmosphere is being questioned, but that home atmosphere against Arsenal and Arteta will be rocking. I have no doubt.
A win for Arsenal would cement it in their minds. We can actually do this.